My dear students, good morning all of you. My hearty welcome to each and every student for watching this video lectures. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am Srinivas Reddy. I am in this teaching profession for the past 3 decades, dealing with IIT, JEE and NEET physics. Hope the video lectures are watching by the students of different boards such as CBSE, ICSE and State Board. This is the foundation classes to all the students who are entering into junior intermediate. I think some students may be the aspirants of IIT JEE and the other may be the aspirants of NEET. Here, the important point is the intermediate portion is nothing but the advanced portion of 8th, 9th and 10th. That means what you have studied in the lower classes, there might be some advanced level in the intermediate. You learned the subject, gain the knowledge in the lower classes, but how to apply this knowledge, that will be in the intermediate level. Regarding the physics subject is concerned, in my opinion, it is the easiest subject provided you are able to understand the concept, and it is the tough subject when you are unable to understand the concept. And another important thing is physics plays a key role for the success in any competitive examination. And one more thing, physics. So first you should have an idea. What do you mean by physics? Physics means it is the study of the nature and its laws. Whatever you come across in our daily life, it is always linked with physics only. Without physics, there is no life. For example, what you come across in a day, for example, you can say that how you are able to walk on the road. That is simple. The basic principle involved in walking is friction only. The friction between the feet and the road causes the motion. Without friction, you cannot walk. Similarly, whenever you come across how you are able to, what is the basic principle involved in the opening or closing of a door? The opening or closing of a door here, it is purely based on the principle of moment of force or the torque. Generally here what happened, whenever you apply the force at the handle of the door, then the door will rotate about the hinges of the door. That means this force causes the turning effect about the hinges of the door. Thereby, it is opening. The closing is also same. You may be given the same application. So how we are opening or closing a tap, that is also linked with the moment of force only. You may be asked, what is the basic principle involved in the working of any electrical appliance? All electrical appliances work under the only one principle, which is nothing but electromagnetic induction. You may be asked, how we are able to see the objects? We are able to see the objects only whenever the reflected light from the object incident on the eye, it forms an image on the retina. Thereby, you are able to see the objects. Can you see the same object in a dark room? No. Isn't it? So, Everything which you come across in our daily life, it is always linked with physics only. And here, this physics will be applied to all other branches of sciences. Mathematics, mathematical methods of physics. Or otherwise, if you go to chemistry, atomic structure, everything, this also comes. So, in all other branches of science also, physics plays a key role. And being an IIT aspirant or being a NEET aspirant, you should dedicate yourself towards studies and try to learn the subject conceptually. Once you have a better concept, you can solve any problem related to that. In any subject, basically, there are three types of questions may be arised. One is knowledge questions, that is, what will be the content that is available in the textbook. Generally, the definitions, the derivations, these are all comes under knowledge type questions. Second one is understanding questions. That means how far you are able to understand the concept behind the subject. That is nothing but understanding or conceptual questions. And third type is skill questions. That means how you are able to apply the concepts in the numericals. That is linked with this skill questions. So generally you may come across knowledge, understanding and the skill questions we have. That is the case here. Now come to physics. There are several branches of physics that are there. First one is mechanics, heat and thermodynamics, properties of matter, optics. Like that, there are so many branches are there in physics. In the first year, intermediate or +1, we have three branches of physics. One is mechanics, the second one is properties of matter, and third one is heat and thermodynamics. Now today's topic is kinematics. Then what is kinematics? Kinematics is a branch of physics which deals with the motion of the bodies without reference to the cause of motion. First of all, here we have to learn certain definitions regarding this kinematics or motion in one dimension or motion in a straight line. In that, the first term that we have to learn is rest. What is meant by rest? Rest means if the position of a body does not change with respect to time and the surroundings, then the body is said to be at rest. That is, what you can say is rest means if the position of a body does not change with respect to time and surroundings. Then the body is said to be at rest. So, this is the first definition that we have to learn in this is rest. If the position of a body does not change with respect to time and the surroundings, then the body is said to be at rest. So, can you give an example? It's very simple. Let us say a book on the table or otherwise a blackboard fixed to the wall. What have you come across? That means if the position of a body does not change with, for example, if you consider this board, This board, if you consider the room as the reference frame, then from one wall it is at a distance of 10 meters, from other wall it is at a distance of 4 meters, or like that. Then after 2 hours it is at the same position, after 3 hours also it is at the same position. That means if the position of the body does not change with respect to time and the surroundings, then only the body is said to be at rest. Then the second term, what is meant by motion? Second one is motion. What is meant by motion? Motion means if the position of a body changes with respect to time and the surroundings, then this is the point here. That is, motion means, if you observe this, if the position of a body changes with respect to time and the surroundings, then the body is said to be in motion. So you can give an example: a running man, a moving vehicle. It also comes under this. That is, suppose a man starts running at the complex. As the time progresses, after some time he reaches to a railway station. Like that, if you can observe, his position is not only changing with respect to time, but also with respect to the surroundings. Then only the body is said to be in motion. Now, what you learn, this comes under knowledge. You may be asked, define rest or define motion. They are simply nothing but the knowledge type questions only. But how far you are able to understand the concept behind this rest and motion? You may be asked some understanding type question. You may be asked a question like this: does the rest and motion are absolute terms? That is, you may be given a question like this. You may be given a question that is the rest and motion are absolute terms. Is the rest and motion are absolute terms? The answer is no. Absolute means independent. Are they independent? The answer is no. Absolutely, they are not independent terms. They are purely relative terms. That is, they are interdependent. So, if you observe this, the answer is rest and motion or absolute terms means the answer is no. Here, rest and motion are relative terms. With respect to one physical quantity, we can explain the state of other physical quantity. Thereby, you can say that rest and motion are relative terms. You may be asked another question. Can a body possess rest and motion simultaneously or at the same time? You may be given another question like this. Can a body possess rest and motion at the same time? Is there any such possibility? Already we said that the rest and motion are relative terms. Now, can a body possess rest and motion at the same time? Is it possible both will exist simultaneously? The answer is yes. But how? The best example what I can give is a man sitting in the running bus. A man sitting in the running bus is at rest with respect to co-passenger. Suppose you are sitting, then what happens? Any person, a co-passenger, with respect to the co-passenger, you might be at rest. At the same time, he is in motion. With respect to objects outside the bus. So, the best time, suppose a man is in the bus and the bus is moving and you are stayed on the ground or at the platform. So, for you, the man is in motion and with respect to the co-passenger, he is at the rest. So, a man sitting in the running bus is at rest with respect to co-passenger. At the same time, he is in motion with respect to objects outside the bus. These are what comes under understanding questions. So, first one is simple learn the definition like the rest and motion. After gaining the knowledge, what type of understanding question that may come from that, and how far you are able to understand the concept behind that can be understood by using these simple questions. Next comes to other one, that is what is distance. Now the other term here first we have to learn in this is distance. What do you mean by distance? Distance means the length of the path covered by the body from the initial point to the final point is called as distance. And generally it is denoted by a letter small d and is a scalar quantity. Here, distance means the length of the path covered by the body from initial point to the final point. The length of the path covered by the body from the initial point to the final point is called distance. It is denoted by small d and is a scalar quantity. Here, units in CGS, it is related with the length, so it will have the units centimeters, and in SI system it is in meters. And very important thing, that note point is distance may be positive or 0. So this is the point here. So distance means The length of the path covered by the body from the initial point to the final point is called distance. It is denoted by letter small d and is a scalar quantity. Units in CGS centimeters, in SI system meters. And the key point here is distance is always be positive or 0. Generally, you may be asked a question here. Once you got the idea of this, you are asked to go from RTC complex to railway station. Suppose you are asked to go from RTC complex to railway station. How you will go? Since I didn't mention any direction, you may choose different paths to reach the destination or to reach this railway station, starting from RTC complex. So different students may choose different paths to reach this railway station. One will go via Diamond Park and then reaches to the railway station. One will go via Alipuram, like that, can reach. Different paths they have taken like this. And one will go straight. So, one path is along Diamond Park. Path is chosen like that. This is the Diamond Park, and like that he can reach. Or one will go via Alipuram, and like that he can go. Different paths they have taken like this for different situations. So, whatever the path that is taken, if you measure the length of this path, that always gives the distance. This is the key point what you know. One will go straight. So, because we have different paths, we can reach the destination according to our will and wish. This is about the distance. Then now, come to the other one. The other point is displacement. What is displacement? Displacement means the shortest distance from initial point to the final point. The shortest distance from the initial point to the final point in a fixed direction is called displacement. So, displacement means the shortest distance from the initial point to the final point in a fixed direction is called displacement. It is denoted by capital S and is a vector quantity. And here, units in CGS, again it is also related with the length, it is in centimeters, and in SI system it is in meters. And here the very important point that displacement may be positive, negative or 0. This is the point here we have. So, the shortest distance from the initial point to the final point in a fixed direction is called displacement. It is denoted by capital S and is a vector quantity. The units in CGS, centimeters, in an SI system it is in meters. And the displacement, the key point here, displacement may be positive, negative or 0. Here, Now, if you come across this, you are asked to go from RTC complex to railway station. Among all these three paths, the shortest path is along the straight line joining this RTC complex to this. So, if you mention the direction along the shortest path, this automatically becomes the displacement. If you give direction to this path, does it called as displacement? No. Here, if that is the case, this is the point. So, the shortest path of all these paths, this is the straight line joining the initial and final points gives the shortest path. Along that path, if you mention the direction, then only it becomes displacement. So, once you got the idea of these two, you may be asked what type of understanding questions that may come from the simple definitions like distance and the displacement. You may be asked a question, understanding type questions, they will be like this. The first one, can a body possess distance with zero displacement? This is a like understanding questions. You can say that these all comes under understanding questions. Just we learned about the distance and displacement. We gained knowledge by knowing that. But how you are able to understand the concept behind the distance and displacement? You may be asked this type of questions. Here, the first question you may be asked, can a body possess distance with zero displacement? The answer is yes. Whenever a body completes one revolution on the circumference of a circle, then the displacement becomes zero, whereas the distance traveled is the length of the circumference of the circle. Or if a body starts from, suppose you are starting at home, reaches to the complex and again comes back to your home, the length of the path covered, suppose from the complex to, from your house to complex, it is suppose 3 kilometers. Again you come back to home. So total distance traveled is 3 plus 3 6 kilometers. But whereas the displacement becomes zero because the initial point is your house and final point is also your house. So the displacement is zero, but the distance traveled is 6 kilometers. Similarly, here the answer for this is yes. Can a body possess distance with zero displacement? Means the answer is yes. And an example you can write like this. When a body completes one revolution on the circumference of a circle, then displacement S is equals to 0, distance d is equals to 2 pi r. Like that there are many examples. Here, suppose this is the circumference of a circle of radius r. Suppose if the particle starts at the point A, after one revolution means again it comes back to the same point. So the initial point is A and the final point is also A. Therefore, the displacement is 0. But whereas distance traveled is the length of the path covered, which is equivalent to circumference of the circle. So it is 2 pi r. You may be asked another question like this. You may be given another question that what you will ask is, what is the numerical ratio? What is the numerical ratio of distance to the magnitude of displacement? Generally, you may be given the options like this: greater than 1, less than 1, or greater than or equals to 1, or 0. Or otherwise you can give less than or equals to 1. Like that you may be given. So what is the right answer that we can consider? So here the right answer is always be this. It is the numerical value, that is distance to the magnitude of displacement, is always greater than or equals to 1. Is already we said this is a RTC complex we said, and this is the railway station we have. Now there are different paths already we have chosen, and this is the shortest path. Now if you take this path along the Diamond Park, this is along Allipuram we have taken. This is another straight path. If you take this path into consideration, this is distance. If you mention the shortest path along this is displacement. So this length is greater than this length, so it is always greater than 1. At the same time, if you mention the direction along the shortest path, it becomes a displacement. If you don't mention, it is a distance. So in that case, the ratio becomes 1. So the ratio of distance to the magnitude of displacement is always greater than or equal to 1. These are some type of understanding questions you may come from this. And now, what type of skill questions that may come from the distance and the displacement? And here, that is skill questions. What type of skill questions that may come from this? You may be asked a question like this. The first question, it will be like this. A body completes 3½ revolutions on the circumference of a circle of radius 7 centimeters. Find the distance and the displacement. This is a skill question based on this distance and the displacement. First thing, this is a circle of radius you are given as 7 centimeters. Suppose it started at point A. After one complete revolution, it reaches to the point A. After 2 revolutions, again, after 3 revolutions, it is. But for half revolution, it exactly reaches to the opposite point, like this. This is also 7 centimeters. The line joining this is the initial point, this is the final point. So the line joining the initial and final point gives the displacement. Therefore, here the displacement is given by AB, that is along the shortest path. That is nothing but 2R, which is nothing but 2 into 7. Therefore, S is 14 centimeters. Because initial point is A and final point is B. But whereas distance, it is given by, for 1 revolution, the distance traveled is 2 pi r. For n revolutions, n into 2 pi. That is, it is always given by number of revolutions into circumference of circle. number of revolutions into circumference of the circle. That is given by capital N into 2 pi r. That is 3 and down means 7 by 2 into 2 into 22 by 7 into 7. Cancel, cancel, 154. Therefore, D is 154 centimeters. This is another, it's a skill type question. Then, come to the other one. You may be given another question like this. A particle is moving on the circumference of a circle. Of radius r. A particle is moving on the circumference of a circle of radius r. When it travels from A to B, then the radius vector makes an angle theta at the center. Find the distance and the displacement. This is another question purely based on this distance and displacement. A particle is moving on the circumference of a circle of radius r. When it travels from A to B, the radius vector makes an angle theta at the center. Find the distance and the displacement. Then how to solve this problem? This is now the solution for that, if you can observe, if this is the circle, now at any instant this travels from A to B. The radius vector makes an angle theta in the center O. When it travels from A to B, the radius vector makes an angle theta at the center. Therefore, first of all, if you want to find out the distance, it is simply nothing but the length of the arc AB. The distance is nothing but length of arc AB. But what is the formula for the length of arc? Here it is nothing but radius into angle made at the center. Radius into angle made at the center, so D is equals to R into theta. This is simple, provided where theta is in radians. Generally, theta, that is angle, should always be expressed in radians only. If theta is directly mentioned in radians, you can write like this, or otherwise, D is equal to R in theta into pi by 180, where theta is in degrees. Suppose you are given 30 degrees, 40 degrees like that, then it should be multiplied as pi by 180 or 2 pi by 360, so that you will get the distance. Whereas displacement, what is the displacement here when you are going to find out? Now, draw a join these two, A to B, and draw an angular bisector onto A. Then this becomes theta by 2, this becomes theta by 2, this is R. Therefore, displacement is nothing but, this is, suppose if I take it as C, then BC plus AC gives the displacement. But here S is equals to 2BC, since, or BC we can write from triangle OBC. What you can write? Sin theta by 2 is nothing but BC by R. Or this can be written as BC is equals to R sin theta by 2. Same thing. Therefore, but AC and BC both are equal and is equal to R sin theta by 2. Therefore, displacement S is equal to BC, that is 2R sin theta by 2. Because of the symmetry, therefore it is 2R sin theta by 2. This is another standard form. With that, for any given angle, you can easily find. For example, if you are given that if theta is equals to 60 degrees, then, which implies 60 degrees means 60 into pi by 180, that you have to write. 63 is cancelled, pi by 3 radians. If that is the case, distance is given by d is equals to r theta, that is r into pi by 3, that is pi r by 3. Whereas displacement, S is equals to 2r sin 60 by 2, that is 2r sin 30 degrees, 2r into 1 by 2, cancelled, that is r. So, for any given, if you know this is a general solution, for any given angle you can easily calculate the distance as well as the displacement. Like this, we can solve different skill questions that may come across from this distance as well as the displacement. This is how we have to learn the subject. Simply knowing the definitions of no use. How to use the concepts is a very important point. This simple aspect. So, by learning simple definitions like distance and displacement, we may come across different types of understanding questions as well as skill questions. This is how we have to learn. In the lower class, just you learned about the knowledge, you gained the knowledge, but how we are going to apply the knowledge in this case is mentioned. Okay, this is how we are going to discuss each and every chapter for our better understanding of the subject. Understand? Tomorrow we will continue with the other terms like speed, types of speed, etc. Thank you. Thank you very much.